so hopefully. Welcome back. Ocean Waves episode 51. Officially the catch-up episode for real. I'm going to do 52 tomorrow. And hell yeah, dude, 52 weeks. We'll get to that tomorrow. Yeah, I'm Indigo Ryan, the Navigator. Thanks for tuning in this week and any other week you might have tuned in beforehand. Yeah, I felt like I was gonna do another solo one here soon, so here we are doing one. I think last time I was on maybe I guess not as confident wave or something. I don't know, but I feel like now I'm good. I feel like I got some stuff to talk about. I don't know. We can start. I think last episode 49 or 50, we got a comment, I believe, from Aaron Mace. Shout out, talking about how he enjoyed the political talk from last time, and I think he said, "How do you feel about RFK Jr. endorsing Trump?" and that it's disappointing. So I think that was the gist of the comment. So yeah, definitely a lot to unpack there. I feel like I saw his video that he endorsed Trump or whatever, but I was kind of scrolling at that point and I didn't have the sound, or I did have the sound. I listened to it, but I didn't really understand what was happening. Then I realized afterwards that he's pretty much dropping out. It feels like he's dropping out of the race and endorses Trump's side. So for me, I'm looking at that I think because I saw Trump did the Theo Vaughn podcast, and Theo Vaughn brought up RFK, and I think that on there Trump stated how he didn't get New York, like he couldn't be on the New York ballot, he didn't get allowed on it or something. So if that's the case, New York's a pretty big state, so I can see why if he's not gonna have at least a fair chance on the ballot per se, then he might not have he feels like maybe he doesn't have a real chance to win this round. So then you gotta kind of so if he's more like, okay, I'm not gonna win, and I feel like maybe he started too early or too late, but anyway. So, but if you look at the grand scheme of it, in some ways, Trump could have been the president in 2020. And would have done this 8 years in a row. He did say that it was, obviously at the time he was saying how it was rigged, and he made some good points with the mail-in ballots, first time ever mail-in ballots. So randomly, you're just shipping off ballots to random homes, and then they're saying that they're this, they're that. Can see that. I knew of people personally that went to go. Their parents went to go vote and they were told that they had already been voted for. So that's kind of weird. And in Georgia, which went blue that year, which was kind of crazy. That's definitely another little thing. Not saying either way, but that's definitely what I would say is a little suspicious, I guess. And then, yeah, mail-in ballots, that. And then usually I feel like I remember when Obama won, it was that Tuesday night you knew, the next day at school. I remember kids running down the hall because Obama had won and stuff. And it wasn't, but it was that night. And then if you remember in 2020, it was they didn't tell you until Friday or Saturday, or maybe I remember my grandma was on the couch the whole week. Just fucking watching the news, and then they just never, and then all of a sudden it was Biden won, and then it was another week or so of Trump being it's rigged, he wants a recount, shit like that, right? So it really wasn't fully cemented. It was definitely odd. So, and then, but if we're really just let's just say what if Trump was telling the truth and saying oh, this actually was rigged, he had more votes than he did the first time and all this stuff, then it's maybe he should have already won, and instead it was just Biden. And it feels for the most part, the people who don't like Trump, not everybody, but the most people who don't like Trump, they're just going to take the spoon of whatever the Democrats give them and think like, oh, no matter what, it's better than Trump. But, if we really look at the country now, like, groceries are like, the grocery inflation price is crazy. Gas hasn't been under $3 all 4 years. Even now, towards election time, it's still above 3 right now. They're talking about the border and all this and that stuff. So, if we are we really saying that Trump was, in my perspective, like in some ways it was better? Gas was cheaper, groceries were cheaper. There wasn't there's obviously there's always some war going on, but it wasn't like the Ukraine thing now where this money's going. And then on the other side, you have Kamala Harris being like, oh, we'll protect the border, but isn't she part of like the thing now? So how is it going to get, like, I'm literally watching a commercial right now. We have a secure border, fucking border ambassador type shit. So it's like, when in reality, it's like you're really being like, oh, we'll fix a problem that we created. So it's kind of weird in that sense, and if we really look back, like let's just go back, let's just take the timeline, unbiased timeline, for real. It's election year. COVID happens. They shut everything down. Add the new rules for the thing, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Trump's telling you about, like, the vaccines coming out. At the time, Biden and the Democrats are saying, don't take the vaccine. It's rushed. It's bad for you, blah, blah, blah. Then what happens? Biden ends up winning, per se. He wins. He's the president, been the president for the past 4 years. And then they start pushing the vaccine mandates and all that stuff. But it's like, didn't you just say back in like February, or didn't you say back in like July and August that the vaccines were bad, don't take them, they're rush, blah, blah, and then now in, November, December, January, you're pushing, and I get at the time they're trying to push like this open, get everything back open, but in reality, like, let's be honest, like, if we look at the stats, like, was it, like, if people had the information they had then, they have now then, would they still make that decision? I don't know, per se. But still, and it's unfortunate because people had built careers and everything, and they were forced into this decision that maybe wasn't the best for them or for their health or whatever, and there's not much ways to get around it, and if you're in one of those positions, so definitely tough. So we can see in time another scenario where we have the Democratic Party saying this and then doing something else. So it's like, if we're looking at it, what I got from what RFK said was, if Kamala Harris becomes the president, we have 8 years of Kamala Harris, that one, we're pretty much screwed. And then two, that by the time she's done, there's no way he'll win in 8 years, But then on the other side, it's like, if Trump you view as like maybe not, if like what the Democrat, anybody but Trump is like, all right, literally, like if we can't have RFK, then we'll have him for 4 years, and then at that point in time, there's going to be at least there's at least two spots for him to try to join into a spot, or at least if he is going to go independent again, there's not this crazy entity like Trump who has a lot of influence and supporters and whatever. Trump can't be in it. So it's beneficial for RFK for Trump to win because he can only be there for 4 years. And then if Kamala Harris is not, if the Democratic Party doesn't want anything to do with RFK Jr. and Trump is smart and being like, if RFK endorsed me, I'll get all of his supporters. And if Trump does actually care about the country and the people of the country and humanity at all, then he'll listen to some of the things that RFK is saying, and maybe we'll get some start on some implementation or within the structure, because there's things that Trump was saying on Theo Von that like he basically got it passed where medical companies or like hospitals had to show the prices of their like MRIs and CAT scan stuff like that, had to be honest with it. So basically there was a data bank or a base where you could go to and you could see, okay, over here in Atlanta it's $50 for MRI, but in like in Macon, it's 250. So, even though you might have to drive an hour, like people with better gas mileage, it would be more beneficial to go to the $50 MRI. But they completely did away with that once Biden got in. So there's things that like it takes time to even get passed and set up, and then if it doesn't get followed through, so hopefully maybe Trump starts to help lead the way for some of the things that if RFK Jr. can run in 4 years with more of a time to like whatever, and maybe Trump can give his fans right over, and like when they do in the stream ends, they push another fans to another streamer. Maybe they can get our people on RFK, and then already the infrastructure is starting for building of betterment of the country and the people and humanity as a whole. So now, obviously, what we talked about last time, like how much do we actually matter in the sense of our voice, our vote, things like that. Like, or is it all one in cahoots, same side, two sides, same story, things like that. So, but if we're really looking at the thing, like we saw what happened with Trump. Like, yeah, like obviously the way he ran the first time, he was like appealing to an audience and stuff. And I don't know the guy, and I haven't heard everything he's ever said and blah, blah, blah. So I'm not speaking on if Trump is a good guy or not. I'm just saying that if we look at, for me, like gas, cost of living was down when he was in presidency. And then now recently, like inflation's going up. We're giving money away to whatever. The world seems fragile. The country doesn't seem united. It's very split, And then you got this lady who's not what she seems. You can look at her history, look what she's done, look what side of the line she stands on, So, and if she gets put in, so we're gonna have 8 years of her, and then it's like, how much, like that's a long time, So I can understand why, if he feels like, one, he's not getting a fair shot anyway. One, two, if he's not even allowed on the ballot, like how can he actually like win or even give a contention? So I can understand him being like, maybe this isn't the year, but maybe 2028 is the year that I can actually do it. And then if you do decide that you do have to pick the right side, like you have to pick the correct side, whoever you're going to endorse or whatever, and just based on years, it's smarter for him to go with the 4-year max versus the 8-year max. But then on the flip side is beyond that, like let's look at where the country was, and if Trump is in some ways going to listen to what he has to say, and he's going to let him influence or whatever, and start to build the infrastructure, then I don't really see a problem with him dropping out and endorse, because if it might be a lost cause, like if he can't get on the ballots, then like what do we, he's spending all this money and blah blah blah. Like maybe save it, build for the next 4 years. And like I said, I think he started a little too late. So now you have a 4-year push, and then all the Trump, like the big Trump thing will be out the way, and it won't be as much of a distraction or for anybody, like just Trump's presence being there. People are going to look at him. People are going to listen to what he's saying. He's going to have his supporters. So at the end of the day, like whether you like it or not, Trump is going to be around, and he's a big influence, and he has a lot of supporters. So it's hot. But now he can't run again. So now there's a big void, a big hole for someone to fill, and it could be RFK. And if I was RFK, I would do the same thing. I don't know if I would do, but I would do, if I was going to choose who I'm going to endorse, I would probably endorse Trump over Kamala Harris, because I just don't see, like, if Kamala Harris is part of this Biden train and we see what's going on, and then if we go Biden, who was Biden a part of? Obama, and then we see what's going on there. Not everyone does, but if you really pay attention, you see what happens in those years. And it's like, this side just isn't. Now they might all be in cahoots, and might all be whatever, it might be whatever, just to show. But at the end of the day, it's like, if we have to pick a side in this one, it's like, it's still maybe not maybe the third candidate is the best. Maybe RFK is the best candidate, but what we said last night, if he wins, and they don't even want him to win to have to decide to kill him, or you know what I mean? So but they're not going to give him a fair chance. So maybe 4 more years, people will start to, on both sides, start to like follow into what he's whatever. And then if Trump like says like, oh, this is RFK's doing for certain things to happen, then maybe it ends up benefiting him overall. So it's definitely tough. I think I would love to have RFK get a fair shot, fair run. I don't think that it should just be 2. I think that it should be 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. However amount of candidates that is actually viable that year should run, and and even if it's like starts at 15 and windows down to 5, like that's fine, but you can't have just these two where these two dominant sides or get their money from either from one corporation to another and blah blah blah, and there's a lot of it's not a fair system. It's not built it's not being funded by people. It's being funded, I mean it is, but it's being funded by pharmaceutical companies and influence to because they want the laws to be certain ways for them to make money and have power and shit like that. So if we're really looking at it, it's tough to call. Like I would have loved to have RFK really have to see him up there with both of them whenever the debates come, if there's even a debate. They might not even have Kamala debate, But if there was, like, imagine Kamala, Trump, and then RFK. It would be interesting to at least hear out all 3 sides in each question, in each conversation, or topic. So I think that it's definitely, in some ways, like, the Trump running in 2024 is different than the Trump running in 2016. It doesn't feel like he's running off that, like, he feels like he's running more on a unified energy versus not like just targeting a specific audience. So, and then people are gonna be like, oh, he's just doing it for money and the whatever, and the business people want him in there. But it's like, these past 4 years have been pretty trash if you really think about it. And I think something my mom said was that the stock market's up for those, but it's like, okay, yeah, the stock market's up, but then you make more money there, but then you got to pay double for groceries and gas, and it's like you still have the same amount of money. It just might look like you have a little bit more, but it's still the same because of how much everything costs. So is it really better? And I don't know either way. Like, I'm not really listening to all these people talk and blah blah blah. I'm just, whatever signs I see, I read those, and and I definitely think RFK, if people were more aware or whatever, then he would probably be the candidate that people would actually be like, he should be our president. He knows how to fight the corporations. He's been suing them and battling environmental, pharmaceutical for years. Both his uncle and his dad died for the country. So I don't know, man. I just feel like he should have had a better chance. And if he's not going to be able to be on the ballots, I can understand why he would save his money and effort for this go around. And if his next go around's in 2028 versus 2028 and then 2032, and then, it just feels like he's not going to get that. Like, by the time 2032 hits, like, he's going to be like 8 years older. Like, even if he does 4, he might not be able to get his full, everything you could do in 8 years, he might not be able to do. So it might not even be worth, so I can understand why he might endorse Trump and have chosen that side to endorse for this go around. Definitely disappointing. Like I said, I don't know any of these people for real, so how can I don't really know who they are or their character just based off different things. But my personal life, I feel like things felt better when Trump was in, as far as day-to-day life. Things felt better. And then when at the end, before his second term, what they put out a whole fucking disease and, shut down the world, and then make new rules, and then say that this person won, and then now we're here with money going other places, the people flooding in, cost of living going up, housing prices up, everything up. It's just absurd. It's like it really is absurd. So I feel like I definitely feel like the people who are like I'm a Democrat will just eat whatever spoon-fed information the person that is the representative Democratic Party gives them. So versus like one, it should just it shouldn't be a side. It should just be like these are the people, and people endorse the people that they want to endorse. But it's not one side or the other. Nothing's so black and white. There's always gray. There's always middle. There's always a different light inflection. So all you gotta do is just look through all the bullshit, find the things that make sense, find the patterns that are repeating, and make a decision that based off your own thought, your own feelings, your own beliefs, versus like what the news is telling you or whatever your news outlet is telling you, just feeding you whatever stuff. It's like I gotta tell you, like we've texted you 6 times to ask if you're voting for Kamala Harris. It's like, bro, and we're in the same line as my mom's. Whatever, so she signed up for some shit, and we're getting like, but I don't get any of the Republican side. So I'm only getting the one side of the shit, versus getting both sides and being able to make a decision based off both. You're just getting this one night. It's like annoying me until the point where I tell you I'm not voting or tell you that I am voting. Oh, fine, I'll vote for her. Like, that's not like, if she was really that great, you wouldn't need 20 messages to force someone to just be tired to delete, block you, or whatever. Like if they were truly inspiring, truly the person that is supposed to lead the country, blah blah blah, and save us from where we are, blah blah blah, then it wouldn't take more than one informational message to get out there to someone who's really paying attention to be like, oh shit, So, but I can see why they'll do it, why they keep put it, because the more they put it in people's faces and blah blah blah, when it comes down to it, people might vote. I don't know, but still, I still don't believe if I put in my thing, I can go look at my social security number and see my circle in the big pot of all the votes. Like, it's not like that. So it's really tough to call, really. What's gonna happen? How's it gonna unfold? Whatever. But as far as for RFK, like, I still support him. I still think he should be the person. But if it's not this go around, he has a better chance of doing what he wants to do within 12 years than 16. So it makes sense especially for his age. It makes sense why he would. And then if Kamala, I'm sure he's met these people, at some point. So if he's making a decision that Trump is even listening to him at all, or that Trump is if it is Kamala and it's more of basically a 12-year term of this, because they got Joe for 4 and then they snuck Kamala in and got 8 out of her or whatever. And the way it's looking, like we're pretty much going downhill fast. That's what I'm kind of getting at. So everyone make the decision that they feel that they want, whether you vote or whether you don't vote. We talked about it last time, so I'm not going to I probably won't double back right now on all of it, but it's like I personally don't know or don't see how we are actually getting our true vote or voice heard, and it's more or less just like they're going to use you, and that they want you to think that you have some sort of influence or power, but really it's not. It's already kind of predetermined, kind of like Taylor Swift and the Chiefs last year. So, so that's my take on that. Shout out Aaron Mace for that comment. Thanks for watching, listening. Appreciate you. I hope gave something in there. I mean, I can understand if you're not a Trump fan or supporter or whatever, and you were of RFK and you're disappointed that he went with Trump. That's, what I mean. But I feel like if you're gonna have to choose between these two, Trump is the better option. However, I do think that RFK should be the president in 2024, based off anyone I've seen. So that's that. shit, we added updates in the Minecraft realm. We added add-ons, so we added, I think, furniture and animals. There's more animals in there, but my dolphins didn't spawn. So except at right before I got off last, so I'll see if I go back on. But if it changed up the spawns for my dolphin stuff, I'm gonna be pretty sad because my dolphins were huge helps when I'm doing underwater stuff. But it's cool. There's different stuff and dragonflies and I don't know, a whole bunch of shit. It adds more to the game. The furniture is cool, the blinds and stuff. It makes different builds possible and different vibes and stuff. So I enjoy it. It's cool. We had our fantasy draft last week or on Sunday. I had the 2 and the 5. I could have. I knew that. So the first pick had to be CeeDee Lamb. The second pick was me. I got to choose whatever I wanted. That was available because we have like some keepers. And then third, they were between ETN and AJ Brown. And then fourth wanted AJ Brown. So I really wanted Lamar Jackson, and I wanted Marvin Harrison Jr., but I wanted Lamar Jackson for 3 years. I was like, I have to go with my boy. I love being able to root for him on Sundays for my team, for my fantasy team, and for the Ravens. So, I would have been more sad if I picked Marvin Harrison at 2 and then Lamar got picked at 4, right? So, but if we're looking at it, so 1 was CeeDee Lamb, 2, I could have went Marvin Harrison there. 3 has Patrick Mahomes, so he wouldn't have needed Lamar. He probably would have went with 3 was in between 3 was in between AJ Brown and ETN. And 4 wanted AJ Brown, so I was like, okay, if I pick Lamar and then 3 goes ETN, 4 will go AJ Brown, that gives me Marvin Harrison Jr., right? How it went down was CeeDee Lamb, Lamar, AJ Brown. He went AJ Brown, which caused 4 to decide what to do, and he decided to go Marvin Harrison Jr., and I was like, damn. So I like quickly whatever in the bet. It was between ETN. I went with Joe Mixon over ETN, but I already have Gibbs and Brees Hall, so just adding another third. But I was kind of like because I thought I was going to be able to get him, but now if I would have went Marvin Harrison, Mahomes wouldn't have been. Mahomes doesn't need Lamar, so okay. Then he goes AJ Brown. However, 4 doesn't have a QB, so if we went AJ Brown, Marvin Harrison, if he didn't really vibe with ETN or Mixon, and if you look at the stats, like out of last year in the top 10, 6 of them were QBs in our league. 6 of the top 10 total points was QBs. So if he would have looked at that, he would have been like, oh, maybe it's better for me just to get a quarterback, and he could have gotten Lamar at 4 because I would have already had Marvin, and then I would have been stuck at 5 trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And I have Marvin Harrison Jr., which I definitely felt like that's a great player for a franchise and blah, blah, blah. But I already have Justin Jefferson, so I already have like a locked-in receiver per se, and I really want to. I would have been more sad if I lost Lamar in that one pick than if I would have lost Marvin Harrison. So, and Marvin Harrison being a rookie, he'll probably play for 10 years, whatever. So maybe when he's freed back up, or maybe I can get a trade in for him at some point. Maybe I can still find a way to get Marvin Harrison Jr. on my team at some point. But for now, I felt like Lamar was the best option for me moving forward. Last year there's been too many times where I tried to pick between Brock Purdy and Jordan Love, like having they're 2 top 10 players, top 5, like 6'5" QBs last year, but it was hard to determine who was gonna like which one to pick each week, and then I would pick the wrong one, and then sometimes it hurt me. So I really hated not having like a solidified QB. So I got Lamar, and then I got Baker Mayfield as a backup. So maybe when there's one of those weeks that lines up where it's like, oh yeah, Baker Mayfield's gonna ball out this week. It's more easy to be like, should I play Baker Mayfield this week, or like should I take Lamar out this week versus like who between these two should I pick. So I just felt like I really wanted that. He's my boy. I fucking love watching him. I've loved him since I saw that we drafted him, and yeah, man. So I went with Lamar Jackson over Marvin Harrison Jr. I hope it plays out all right for me. Marvin Harrison Jr. is now I got to play him. He's in my division, so it is tough. It is tough, but Four knew that I wanted Lamar too. So if I would have not gone that way, he could have out of spite to like he know that he could trade him to me. Like I don't know, or he might have not. I don't know, but I knew that if I did like right now, if I was talking about how I had Marvin Harrison but I don't have Lamar, I'd be a lot like it didn't sit right with me. So I went with Lamar. I risked it. We lost Marvin Harrison. It's all right. There'll be another great receiver rookie coming out at some point. He's not going to be locked in for his whole career. The max is 6 years. I don't know if he'll do that. But even so, if he does a couple years, maybe a Jefferson for Marvin Harrison when the contracts run out, that could be a good trade. So I'm not too pressed on it. My boy Shane said that he would have went Marvin Harrison if he was in the league. I get it. It's generational talent. Great at Ohio State. Great hands. Good. Like, he's going to be a great player. He is a rookie. It's great to have him, but I just felt like it is rookie. Like, you know, like he has potential to go crazy, but the Cardinals and Kyler Murray haven't shown full potential of the whatever. And Lamar Jackson is just like a good. He's 2-time MVP. You know what he's whatever, and he is my favorite player right now. Has been for a while. The only jersey I have, and I don't really spend too much money on NFL shit anymore. You know, so just felt like the right move. So I went with Lamar Jackson. And yeah, so that was good though, because there was like so many draft pick trades, like over like 20, like I had to move so many picks around, and there was so much stuff going on. So I was able, kind of like, and I got congested last week, so it was like kind of like it slowed me down for the week. And then also I had where I wasn't really doing like music or stuff like that, and then I was able to consume my time with fantasy. So by the time that had all settled, I had spent like time away from what my thoughts were about in the past few weeks or whatever. Like it was the first time I had kind of like removed myself from those thoughts. So now that it's over, like those thoughts started creeping back in, but now I kind of think of them differently. I see them a little differently. I'm able to process them differently, and I feel better. Physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, I feel better. I don't know. I'm not really going to speak on what's going on, but I think a lot of it just has to do with, like, communication. And, like, there's that thing where it'll be, like, you know, you'll have 4 people in a room, and then one person leaves, and then someone will project their emotion or feeling of the other person that had left, and then that kind of influences the whole group, and then that group of people might not ever bring it up to them. And I don't know, I feel like there's like we were talking about last week at the workplace, like you don't say everything you're really feeling at the time or whatever, but I feel like at the end of the day, like if it's someone that you love or care about or have respect for, like whatever you have to say, you'll say it to them. You know, if you have something to say to them that might be negative or whatever, or like something that like they should be aware, like you think like, oh, you should know this, or this is how I saw it. You know, it just kind of feels like, I guess in my personal perspective and whatever, feels like I've done a lot of like putting other people's feelings and emotions and like kind of like just respecting that and like putting those before mine, and just putting a bunch like, but no, it hasn't really felt like anyone's reversed it, where it's like they're gonna put me first to whatever. And I just feel like there's been so many things that have happened or whatever that it would just like, if honest conversation occurred, it would have saved a lot of turmoil or whatever. But also, sometimes people aren't ready to have a conversation or aren't at the point to be honest with themselves or whatever, or people aren't uh as aware to like process someone else's feelings because they're all stuck in their own, and they might be going through a lot too. So it's tough to say, but I don't know. I just feel like I feel like I've always been sort of like almost like, I guess, like an outsider in the group, in whatever group I'm in. I've always kind of like, I'm around and I'm in this thing, but I'm not in whatever. I'm not fully in this circle, like whatever this circle is, this spiral of energy. Like, I'm not fully in it. I'm around, and when they see you, they dap you up like, yo, it's good, nice to see you. But then when you leave, they have something to say, or they don't actually they don't really care. And I just kind of wish that people wouldn't be so two-faced. Like, I feel like if you don't really be, but like, you would just say it, and then we can just kind of skip all of the theatrics. That's kind of where I'm at. But it just feels like, yeah, this feels like I'm not like that. I'm very much I've put other people ahead of myself. And I also feel like I've allowed people to bring me into their energy, and that's not a bad thing. Like, Jason and I will morph energy, and we'll create something new, and we'll vibe off each other, we'll learn off each other, we'll grow. There's this fusion that comes, and it's a new color and a new thing when we are fully vibrating together. That's good. But then there's people that will be like, like, if you're having a good, and you walk in, the other person is like having a bad day, like, you might suck into their bad energy and be like, not have as much of a good day because they're having a bad day. And the thing about it is that, like, where I vibrate, like, when I vibrate at where my true frequencies lie, like, or lay, it's a kind of a weird word to put together, but I'm like over here, I'm in a good mood, like, I'm projecting positivity, I'm speaking growth, I'm speaking connectivity, togetherness. In some ways, I've kind of felt like I've went down and more into this like sadder place, or not unsurety, hidden thoughts and feeling, like, not just being truly fully honest. And that's not where I vibrate. And I think that's why I've been so on a lower frequency, or because I went down into this energy that I don't really resonate at or be at. I'm more over here. And that's probably why I've been so confused, because it's like not my space, and I haven't figured out how to get out of it fully. Like, I'll go, but I feel like I'm easily, in some cases, I'm easily dragged back in. So I'm trying now. My thing is to try to just like, don't allow myself to be dragged down, but help people kind of come up to where I am, and then we can kind of meet at least in the middle, and then, but if I'm not going any farther than, like, that's the bottom line. Like, I can't go, because if I do, it's too much a toll on me to go back and go through and go up, because I've already done and I feel like if I keep, it's like deja, like, over and over and over again. Like, you don't want to do the same shit over and over. Like, I've already beat this level. I've already passed this level. I don't want to play this level anymore. I want to go to the next one and beat that one, or progress to find the chests on that one. All the chests in here are already open, So, that's where I've kind of been recently. I'm definitely connection has been on my mind. Just trying to, I've seen that I feel like I was very much like putting my influence in each moment, like saying things or making something happen or doing a certain act or whatever. And now I'm kind of just like, I've taken myself, and there's different moments where I know I'm supposed to be doing like more present or more active in the moment versus a passive, like being passive and just watching it unfold. And I've seen that in some ways, if I would have just been passive in certain moments, things would have unfolded in front of me. So now I'm kind of watching life unfold in front of me in certain ways, but then in other ways, like at work, I've been cracking more jokes, trying to find the joke, getting laughs, because the workplace isn't always the most positive place, but people, like, to know that if they're around me, they're gonna laugh, their day's gonna be better. I'm gonna help where I can help. I'm not gonna be a negative employee emotionally, physically, or even just doing the job, like creating work for others, not holding up my end of the deal, pulling my weight, you know. So and definitely after, I still haven't seen my best man speech at Jason's wedding. I still haven't seen the performance. I pretty much used it as I don't, if anyone hasn't, I've used it as like a stand-up comedy set that time, like that moment. It kind of came to me on like I think like Wednesday or Thursday. I was like that week I was like, oh, what should I do? And I was kind of thinking of some of the things I should say, which kind of those things kind of came at the end. But then around Wednesday or Thursday, I thought of it. I was like, ooh, what if I did like jokes? And then I started they all just started flying in. And a couple of them that were like the best ones I got on like Friday night. So it was like, but it was easy because it was about like Jason and the family. It was easy to draw out the family. But I haven't seen, I know it was recorded, and I just haven't seen, I want to see it before I start writing like my 15-minute set, my 5-minute set, before I start really choosing the premises and whatever. I want to see that just to see where I was, and then kind of pick out the way that I did things, and then kind of just go from there. I want to be able to study my first performance before I move on to the second one. At least just see it at least once, right? So, but in the meantime, almost freestyling when you're trying to get better at rapping or whatever, get better at getting words out. You'll freestyle. It's kind of the same thing. Being at work, finding the situational jokes, finding the joke in each conversation. It could be something completely not about whatever, has nothing to do with anything, and then you just find a joke in there that, hits and makes the people laugh. I feel like and then I'm also, so not only am I more of I'm a joy to be around, right? That's the goal. I'm not saying that I am maybe to everyone or whatever, but in the goal when I'm there is to be a joy, to make it, when I'm there, it's better. It's a better time than when people are excited that, oh, Ryan works today. That's one of my goals. And then on the other side, there was this moment where we got busy, and we weren't busy all day. It just kind of all came, and I wasn't busy. And then being the bartender, I don't always get, as it gets closer to dinner time, I lose the opportunity to have a bigger table. The most I have is 4, and then unless 10 people show up at the bar that are all together. But then we got a table outside, and they were 10, and I didn't have any. I had one table. I can do it. So I went outside, started taking them, blah, blah, blah. In that time, there gets to a point where the restaurant fills up. There's on the weekdays, there's happy hour and stuff, so it's a little different. People come. But there'll be times where the bar just fills up because it's the hand-me-downs of the people who don't want to sit at a table or don't want to wait for a table. They'd rather just sit at the bar, but they don't really want to sit at the bar. I call them the island of misfit toys. You know what I mean? They're okay being there, but they don't really want to be there. Shit like that. So I did. But then they started sitting at the bar, and I was like, okay, so now it's definitely super busy. There was one table where the host got the drinks for me. So once someone's once the host is getting the drinks for me, that that I'm swamped because I'm still at the bare minimum. Let me at least like get their drinks, get their order, put it in. Whether I run the food there or not, like different story. But let me at least get this. Let me at least do that. If I'm gonna get the tip, let me at least do the work. So I knew I was already busy. But then I got presented another table outside, and the one hadn't been done yet. So I could do like where you go to one and you can do something for the other. So it wasn't out of my way. And if I would have done it, so let's just give the thing now that this table ends up giving or tipping $100. The second one outside, the the seven people one, they ended up giving $100, right? In the moment, I get asked and like, oh, do you want to take it? And I was like, yes, I do, because I was like, I already know, like, I'm already popping, making money right now. If I get another 7, that's another 30. 40. They're good, having a good. Maybe we can have a big day today, right? So then but then that's my first initial thought. But then I'm like, well, hold on. I'm already way too busy. I'm not fully taking care of all my guests at the moment. The host just got them drinks. So I could take it, and if I do, I have the potential to make a good amount of money on them, which turned out to be 100. Granted, the server could have done a great job to give them 100, and maybe I wouldn't have got 100 because it maybe wasn't as good if I'm too stretched thin or whatever. And then the other people who I was serving, they would have had a worse experience too. On top of the fact I had to make these drinks, and then it probably would have resulted in the whole to be a lesser experience than if I'm at my station having at least an extra minute or two, right? So I look, and there's this one girl who I did make the joke earlier that we're going to make sure she gets her table. That way she doesn't like bring the mood down for everyone, basically. So shout out to her for being a good sport on the joke. But I was joking, but not really. And it turns out that this opportunity comes, and I know that she hasn't been super busy, right? So I offer her, and then she makes it like, oh, thanks, like basically like almost like out of pity, but it wasn't. I was like, I'm busy, and I was like, no, I'll take it. Like if you don't want it, she was like, I'll take it, and I was like, all right, yeah, go take it then, because I'll do it. But I'm literally just being kind, like I'm just surveying the situation. I'm not a manager or anything, There's arguments either way on both sides, but I'm just a bartender right now. So, I usually do think about. I am very much like, let me look at the environment as a whole, right? So I was like, you know what? Let me offer to her. She hasn't had that much action today. Let me give her the opportunity. She makes 100 off of it, and then doesn't tell me, and shows others. And then when we sit down at the end, then she told me, and then she said thank you. And at that moment, like, I didn't know. In that moment, I was like, all right. And I was tired, so I was yawning, and I started tearing up a little bit. And she's like, are you crying? I was like, no, I'm not crying. No. Just yawning, whatever. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But it was kind of both. I was like yawning, but also I was like, I had very much understood that I had made the right decision. She went from making 130 to 230. I made like 250. So do I need to make 350 that day? It would be nice. It's always nice to make a bunch of money, but at the same time, it's like everyone left on a good mood versus me just being like, oh, look at me. And now if I would have been able to handle all my stuff and I make that money, like, hey, yeah, obviously you want to, but it's like, but knowing that if I would have made the other decision to take the table, I would have maybe made more money, but the restaurant would have suffered as a whole. She would have left unhappy. 130 versus 230, way different feeling after working all day. So, I realized I had made the right decision. I had blessed another person's day. And it just felt like, it just feels good because not all the time when you make the right choice or whatever that you get like shown right away. But it was kind of like that, where it was like, make decision, instant, like good, like great choice, good job. Was on made the right decision. Like I helped someone else have a better day. I still came out okay. Do I need an extra $100 right now? Not really. I mean, obviously more money is more money, but for now I don't need it. I don't need $100. I have enough to eat today, and I have enough for rent and whatever. So, and there's days that I might need the extra 100 and I'll get it. But it was like knowing that my karmic balance, like knowing that I made the right choice, help this other person. I'm a positive influence, cracking jokes, making people laugh. Like, definitely made me feel good. So I definitely recommend, making a choice that might not be better for you per se, but then it's better for the whole around you in your environment, and then by that it does become better for you because you are part of your product of your environment, in a better environment, better vibrational stat level collectively is always better, so I felt great about that, and I definitely felt like proud of myself, I guess, not arrogantly, just like, yeah, it's like, damn, like that was the right decision, and I'm happy I made it, and I'm better for it, So that was my work week. Yeah, what else, dude? I had a fucking dream. This is the first time I've said this out loud. So anyone who watches episode 51, Ocean Waves, you get a sneak peek of something I've never said out loud before. Yesterday morning, I woke up and I had this fucking this crazy vivid dream that I was holding my baby. And it was crazy. It was so real. And then I woke up. In the dream, there's other things that happened in the dream. But this was like the holy grail, like the championship moment of this dream. And I was holding my baby. And then I woke up. And the house was empty. There was no one here. And it was like I was like, damn. It's like so sad for a second. Because it was like, a moment ago, I'm like in this moment, this life, this thing. There's this person that's looking up to me and loves me unconditionally, and and it's like so real, so vivid. And then you wake up, and I'm back here, and usually like Keita and the baby, Keita and the baby were gone. Jason was at work. It's just very much just like alone. And that was a weird way to like start the day. But I think in some way, I feel like maybe it was a premonition, and I just saw something of my future, and and things like at work, if I make the right choices and the right, I will get to where I want, and the things that are what maybe I don't know that I want right now, but I do want, or like the way it will happen, and and I do believe that everything happens for a reason. It's all meant to be, and as long as I walk and stay in my vibration and walk my path, I'll get to exactly where I'm supposed to go. So it wasn't crazy, and I mean shit. Like, it's not like I can definitely. It kind of got me thinking of people who maybe have like lost kids too. And it's like, damn, imagine like just waking up, like dreaming about them, then waking up, but they're gone now. Like, so I could definitely, not that I know what it's like, but I could kind of see like, it helped. I was like, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the end of the world type feeling. It was just more like, but for me personally, I was like, damn, it was just kind of sad, But it'll be all right, it'll be all good. So yeah, so that was my dream the other day. Super vivid, super right there. You could touch it. You could just taste that dream, and then you just wake up back here, So, but it was cool though. I don't know. What else? What else is there? What else is going on? Definitely in that point where like the NBA is coming back, football is back, baseball playoffs. So one of the best times in sports, but we've talked about sports on here before. Um, Ocean Waves episode 50. If you didn't watch episode 50, there's a point where I'm talking about Six Flags, and I posted on my Instagram, Reyen.ooa, Reyen.ooa. I posted that clip, that like 7-minute clip on there on my reels, and I tagged Six Flags Over Georgia saying, hear me out. Let's make a great experience that the whole family can enjoy, right? So if you vibed at all, if you thought anything about anything positive, and if you liked where I was coming from, vibed at all, go find that clip on Instagram and then repost it and tag Six Flags Over Georgia. Because if we even maybe even 100, like, just if we can get people around the area to see that and be like, yes, and then maybe we can actually start something, start a chain reaction. And like I said, whether it's me, anyone steals the idea, fine, no problem. I just want I would definitely don't mind helping out, giving my opinions, ideas, and stuff. But if someone else has the investment and the money to do so, then they can go do so. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think I realized last time one of my passions, I guess, is great experiences. Giving people great experiences, especially experiences that cost money, and people spend their lives, and now they're taking their family here and blah, blah, blah. Like, to at least have something that's very great and a great memory, and like, that is important to me. So we'll see. So if you like the Six Flags comment on Ocean Waves 50 last episode, if you didn't see it, go watch it. If you liked it, go find me on my Instagram, Reyen.ooa, Reyen.ooa, on Instagram. It's the last reel I posted. Go up there, repost that junk, tag them in it, hear them out. Six Flags Over Georgia, tag them. So, appreciate the comment, Aaron Mace. Like, definitely appreciate that. I definitely love feeding off the comments and filling in the puzzle pieces that maybe I didn't touch on, or someone saw it from a different light, different angle, and now we can touch on that. So if any comments that anyone ever has, like, please let us know. Thank you for everyone who's watched any of these podcasts, anyone who looks forward to them. Thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate it. I feel like I should touch back on the dream thing. Like, don't let, the thing about dreams is that they're very interesting. Some can be premonitions, some can show you things that you want, that you're missing. It can be an escape. It can haunt you at sometimes. But I think that if you keep finding the light in each day, enjoying what you can enjoy, spending time with the people that want to spend time with you, creating honest and open lines of communication, general love and support for each other in anything that someone's doing, a venture they're doing, a talent, raising a kid, going to work, just anything that anyone's doing, supporting them in it. But yeah, always I think for me, I just think that sometimes people don't really think or really spend the extra second to check on their friend or their family member or whatever, to make sure that they're doing all right and that everything's all right. Sometimes people might just need the extra little push to open up, and not to trauma dump like we talked about last time at work, but to know that there's someone that cares about them and is thinking about them on that day. I think that's some of the most important things in life. And I definitely feel like being honest with the people you love, and not bottling up how you feel is the way to go and to move forward and to build great connections that last a long time and through ups and downs, because connections like that people are willing to give and receive and to learn from each other and to grow. And it really comes down to the simplest fact of, do you care that this person is alive and they're here, And it's like, and if you do, and you truly love those people and whatever, you should just make sure, not you, I shouldn't say you should, but it might be in your best interest to reach out to those people at least every once in a while, check in on them, tell them, see how they're doing, tell them how you're doing, and even trying to create little meetups, like whether it's for an hour or a weekend or whatever, like just keeping connections alive because they're important. And if two people don't, like, you could, just like I was saying earlier with the room, if 3 people are in a room and one of them walks out and one person says to the other person, like, da 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 da, and then they come back and then that person walks out and that same person says to the other person now, da 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 da, and then you come back and now you have 2 people who don't talk about it, might have this, they might miss out on a great connection because they're now influenced by what this other person said, and they never talk it out and be honest. And instead of coming together, they kind of stay like this, and and I just feel like it's better to unbottle it and let it out than it is to bottle it in, especially because just on personal experience, like bottling it in and keeping it in and staying in the dark alone type shit isn't really the best method. Luckily, I have music to get it out, and then once I make the music, I can listen to it, and you can kind of move through those things. But yeah, I definitely think for me, like, a lot of my turmoil recently has been lack of communication and in an unsureness of where everyone truly vibrates at, and how much I'm putting people's perspective and feeling whatever ahead of myself. How much am I getting in return as well? I've kind of more like, let me just, instead of putting myself behind and everyone ahead, maybe just remove myself from situations that might force me to do that, and to just kind of stay at, like, if I don't insert my opinion or if I don't influence the moment, let the moment unfold in front of me, then then when it's time, make those influences and movements. That's the thing. And when I say that, I'll never, like, whenever if there's ever a conversation or ever a moment where the light shines on me and I'm here to say this, or I'm here to do this, I'm here to give that table away for the whatever, I'm going to do those things. I'm going to crack those jokes. I'm going to say this word of inspiration. I'm going to, lend a helping hand or an ear. I'm going to do those things because that's who I am. I have to. Naturally, that's what I do. So it's not like I'm going to deny what I'm here to do, but maybe I've been a little quick to influence a moment or to give my perspective and kind of wait for people to ask for it. Now, if you come here and you're listening to this podcast, then obviously it's different because either me or whoever is on at the times is giving some sort of enjoyment, feeling, opening up a thought process door, overall vibrational setting where you're at, like that. It makes sense. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna say how I feel or whatever, and You don't have to hit play, and if you do, I really appreciate you 100%. But you don't have to, and I don't have to go hit play on wherever I hit play on, but I do because it resonates with me and whatever, But in the everyday conversation, everyday, thing, it's like I'm finding where is my like finding out when it's actually my space and when am I forcing myself in, and if I am forcing myself in, why, and for what reason. And if I don't need to, maybe I shouldn't, and just kind of let things unfold and kind of wait for those moments to open up because if I do, then it's cause and effect. If I influence the moment, the effect of that is positive, hopefully, usually, but sometimes it can be negative, and maybe not negative for someone else, but negative for me because of what I have to go through on the next go around or whatever, So that's where I've been. Definitely the fantasy football got me out of my thought process. I was able to, now that that's kind of settled, now I can process the thoughts differently now. I'm feeling better overall, and then the goals right now is to just continue this podcast and try to grow it where it can grow, try to get better myself, keep speaking words of wisdom and opening doors of thought and conversation. Like, that's the goal. Goal for music is I have something right now, Jason. We're on this our next wave of ideas, but also I feel like in some ways that I kind of got derailed from my last mission, and so I might go back and retie those wires and reconnect them in a slightly different way, and so musically, and then but with Jay, I'm really much on the let's just try to make the best music possible, just make great music. It's always the goal, and it's now more of a goal than ever. I'll work on the comedy, I'll work on the jokes, and then I got the couple movie ideas. So I'm getting to that point now where I'm gonna start using the different colors on my palette. But it's just been one of those years, man. Somewhat disappointing, but I've grown so much, so I wouldn't take anything back. And there's much more to come, for sure. And I'm gonna continue trying to do what is right or what is best or in each moment, and continue growing, continue on this journey, and knowing that the dream, one day these premonitions, these dreams, these ideas, maybe the Six Flags thing, maybe the soccer league thing, all these things will come in to fruition, and then in my days I'll have more meaning in each day. For now, the meaning I find is the meaning I find, and I'm grateful to be alive. I appreciate breathing every day and waking up and having another day to grow. I don't think anyone commented last time about what drives them or what they look forward to most every day. So maybe this time I'll ask again. Comment what are you most excited for each day? For me, it's the opportunity to grow, and just be a better version of myself. Another day to breathe and create something, and also another day to build connection and hopefully help this world get to a harmonious place in a peaceful setting versus one of greed, power, war, and stuff like that. So I don't know. I feel like this is a good little wrap up. I kind of touched a little bit of here, a little bit there on this one, and the thing. I guess I'll end on I don't know. I feel like I don't want to feel like that dream, when I was talking about the dream, that it was I was so, I don't know. I just feel like it was just so vivid and so real. And then to wake up and then be like an empty house, it was a weird paradox. I think that's kind of what it was. But I've had, and it was the most like not lucid, but the most like vivid dream I've had in a while. So that's why it kind of threw me off a little bit. So, but overall, I definitely think that there's stuff in your dreams that you can learn from. It's a layer of your subconscious, and if you don't feel like you're dreaming enough or whatever, I feel like maybe meditate, change your nightly routine. There's, I'm not sure I haven't done, I don't know, but probably meditation. Yeah, changing your nightly routine maybe a little bit, searching up what might be preventing you, and taking those steps because and I feel like when people say I don't dream, I feel like people do. They just might not. They might not remember it, or like you might be looking at the screen like it's lagging or it's pixelated versus a nice HD VR present type, but where you're there, you can fly around, stuff like that. So I think that if in your life you feel like maybe you don't dream enough, maybe that might be something to try to figure out how to work on or whatever. And there's nights where I have super vivid dreams, nights where I feel like I kind of just woke back up, like went like that, and it's all in between. I think it definitely has to do with how much sleep you had, probably what you eaten, what you ingested that day, and overall energy feeling. There's days where maybe my mind is so consumed on this. It has recently. There was a time where my mind was so consumed on this one thing that I would dream about it, and there's no escape. So now, like, my dreams are, and I think that was just because of how much time I was thinking about this one thing. So that's definitely true. Now that I've opened my thoughts up to, like, stop being so locked in on this one idea, like reopening and letting just different thoughts come in. Now, like, my dreams have opened up more, or they're not so influenced by that, which is why it did throw me off the other day. So, but other than that, feeling good, feeling great. Episode 51. Tomorrow we'll do 52. Fucking crazy. We'll get to that. I've been wanting to say like all this stuff, like praises or whatever, but we'll save it for tomorrow. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'm Indigo Reyen, the Navigator. Comment what you look forward to most every day, and anything else you might want to say or whatever. I still think RFK should be the president. Whether he gets the fair chance this time or not, I'm not sure. Probably not, and so it is unfortunate. And I'm sure he thought a lot about his decisions. So, yep. Until then, I hope everyone has a great day whenever they watch it. I hope I gave something inspirational or something, or opened up some sort of thought door that maybe you didn't think about, or it brought it back up in some way. I hope I did anything to make your day better, because if you watched this, you made my day better. So in return, I hope I made your day better. Appreciate the love. Appreciate anyone who's following, anyone who believes in this path we're creating, and anyone who makes the right decisions and cares about their environment and the people around them. So I appreciate all of you. And don't forget to big up yourself. Don't forget to tell yourself you're the one, you're the man, you're the girl, you're the whoever, whatever. You know, just don't forget to tell yourself that you're great, because you are. And the only person that can forget it is you. So appreciate y'all for watching. I'm Indigo Reyen, the Navigator. Episode 51, Ocean Waves. Oceans on arrival, all platforms, all streaming sites. You know, if you know, you know. If you don't, you'll find out soon. We're growing. We're getting better. We're on the path, and we're here for good intentions. So, hell yeah. Love.